The best thing about doing Not About Lumberjacks is I can write whatever I want. The worst thing about doing Not About Lumberjacks is I can write whatever I want. While I had a blast with longer stories like Gerald's Grail, which came in at 10,376 words, and Godspeed Crazy Mike, which topped 10,722 words, I yearn for the day I kicked off the podcast with an 893-word tale. It's not lost on me how fortunate I am to have a following that's happy to listen to whatever I write, regardless of length. Now, there is something to be said about submitting stories to traditional publications seeking specific word counts, or limiting yourself even if not seeking publication. Sometimes a story benefits from getting straight to the point and then ending. It's entirely possible the longest Not About Lumberjack stories could have benefited from cutting down their word count. Fans of the show, however, have told me the opposite. They love the longer stories. As for me, I love having options. There are times I enjoy something short and direct, but most of the time, I prefer having room for something more. As a reader and a writer, I've always preferred slower stories that unfold over time. Why? Because more time means more space, which means more room for mood. Now, I'm obviously not saying that a short story doesn't have mood, but there is a benefit to allowing a story time to develop properly. There's something to be said for not rushing through. I once submitted a novel to an agent high on my list who told me they knew by the second chapter that they wouldn't be able to sell the book, but they finished it because they loved the sense of place and mood so much. That little thing they couldn't quite put their finger on was what pulled them through, not plotting. Fans of Not About Lumberjacks tell me they do love what happens in the stories, but one of the things they really love is the sense of place and the way the stories I write make them feel. For them, it's what sets the show and my stories apart from others. As for you, I encourage you let go and write what your stories need. That might be short, or it might be long. But if you have more story in you and a certain mood in mind, I encourage you to follow that path to see where it goes. Worst case, you can always cut things down later. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up or listen to a story at nolumberjacks.com. And if you want to see how I became a writer or learn about the process I use when creating episodes of Not About Lumberjacks, you should be able to see that right here.